Here's to the golden moon. Here's to the silver sea. Most of all, here's to breakfast with Bob in Hawaii.
Whoa, Pacho Man. We are presented by ES Sports Nutrition, Cliff Bar, Timex, Roca, Tanya Pura Resort, Rudy Project, and Slow Twitch. Our next guest, we were chatting with him the other day. When I first sent him an email, he was like, I don't know if I really deserve to be on. I didn't really have much of a race last year. But Mr. Tyler Butterfield not only finished fifth, but was in the mix all day long. How about a round of applause for Mr. Tyler Butterfield? The pride of Bermuda.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me back.
No
At least I
problem.
feel like I deserve it now. I wasn't quite sure, so put a little extra pressure to race well, but I think I need a little bit of pressure. I try and take it off, so it's nice when other people
Yes.
put it back on me just a tiny bit.
So probably the biggest thing when you moved out of 7th place to 6th and 5th is knowing that you were leaving your dad in the dust since he was 7th as well here, that you finally had something on dad.
Yeah, definitely. It's always to beat that 7th place is in the back of my mind. However, I did not feel good on the run. So when I was in 8th, I didn't think I'd even hang on to top 10.
Really?
And when I moved up to 6, I didn't think I was actually going to hold on. Just because 2 years ago when I did well, I went from 4th to 7th. And when I was in 6, I thought 4th to 7th, 3 spots. I'll still make it in the top 10 if I slip from 7th to 9th. But that's what was going through my head.
You're thinking about the guys coming up.
Yeah, when you don't feel good, I was trying to stay positive, and I was being positive, thinking one step at a time, move forward, look at the guy ahead of you. But the one person ahead of me was Andy Potts, and
Right.
he'd already passed me. So I could tell I wasn't actually catching him, but I was just trying to stay close. And you never know what can happen. A couple times, because he had a white jersey on, it looked closer. He probably was always pulling away, but for a couple times, it looked like he was actually coming back, which he probably wasn't. But you feed off anything positive. But until you cross that finish line, like I didn't even, normally I love clapping everyone's hands, the kids' hands, but I just wanted to cross that finish line. I'm always afraid of even cramping on the
Yes. On the ramp.
on the ramp.
That's a steep ramp at that point.
And someone flying by. It's like maybe it's a nightmare I have that I don't realize, but so.
In the past, I think you decided, hey, you know what? I've got to do well here. I have to have long distance in my legs. I've got to do long, steady stuff. And then last year, when the break happened, you didn't have that gear to go with the group. And this year, you did more of the get out of the saddle, hard efforts. That pay off yesterday?
Yeah, definitely. I was surprised I didn't actually feel as good because I've been doing so much like on the bike. Short, hard, 1, 2, 3 minute, high intensity, motor pacing. So I thought, once I was in the group and had a good swim, I was like, sweet, this is my day. And on the bike, we kept changing pace, and I was like, this doesn't feel comfortable. And normally, in 2013, I loved it. Like,
Yes.
I could see other people were like grimacing every time it went slow, fast, and I was just in heaven. Whereas yesterday, I can't say I felt great at really any point in the day. The swim was probably where I felt the best,
Yeah.
which is generally my worst. But I
Right.
knew I was in that bunch. So I think you're just, when you're feeling okay in your worst discipline, you're positive because you know that's good.
Right.
But when you're supposed to be a really good biker and you don't feel super strong, you get a bit down on yourself. And that's why sometimes I like to take the pressure off, because if you're like, I'm an Uber biker, or I'm not an Uber biker, but I'm a solid biker, I should feel good, you certainly get like harsh on yourself when you just feel average. But it all worked out great in the end. Like I couldn't have asked for anything different.
So there was a point there, mile 3 or so of the run, where you're saying to yourself, I am not doing this again.
Yeah, at the airport on the bike, I threw up a fair bit. It wasn't like a little spew burp. I'd had a couple of them. It literally, everything came out. And I ran along feeling fine the first mile, didn't take anything at the first aid station. And I was like, I can't run a marathon without putting anything back in. So the second aid station, I put stuff back in, and sure enough, I was bloated again. And I'm like, hold on, have nothing, feel good, you're gonna bonk, or put stuff in and you feel bloated and you're having cramps. This is not gonna end well. And I just said, you know what, next year I am taking a year off. This island is too hard for me. But I didn't finish last year, get to the finish, just one foot in front of the other. It was actually watching your and Mark Allen's show when he said the 1 inch every step.
Yes.
I was just thinking 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other. And sure enough, the stomach got a little better. I yelled out to Chris Lieto. I said, "What do you do with bloating?" Because I normally don't touch water. And he's like, "Put some water in. You've had too much sugar." And I'm like, "You sure? That's just more in my stomach." Put a bit of water in, started to go away. And then you had to keep putting sugar in. You can't bonk. But yeah, I managed it. And maybe it was, in hindsight, a blessing because I ran quite strong at the end because I couldn't hurt my legs in the beginning just because of the stomach issues.
What's interesting is the other thing that Mark said is, you got the guy on each shoulder going, "My condo's right there." The other guy going, "Come on, stay in this." Yeah. And he finally said, "Shut up." Yeah. Just turn the mind off, and again, one foot in front of the other. Yeah. Is that basically what you had to do?
I loved that whole interview. I'll listen to that one next year as well. I'll listen to the one you guys do in 2016, but I'll probably re-listen to that one. Maybe that also helped. This year I'm down at the Sheraton, which isn't on the course.
Yes.
Last year I was on the course.
You would be too far to run back to your condo.
So I mean, at the 5 mile turnaround, you only got 2 miles.
Yes.
But there's people back here waiting for you. The first gel I took was maybe half a mile before I saw the kids, because I thought if I do suddenly cramp and have to walk, at least I can walk and say hello to them and then struggle through it. But I thought it might have turned into it very easily turned into a 4.5 hour marathon. That was going through the back of my mind. But I was waiting till it happened. I wasn't going to let it happen, but I was going to, if it happened, it happened. And that's the thing at this race is anything can happen in front of you and people can break down, but also you can be one of the people that breaks down and anything can happen and fall back.
Yes.
So I never take anything for granted. I mean, you just got to keep moving.
So now that you finished 5th, that means you're coming back.
It means I'm coming back. I think I have enough points from 70.3 and this to come back, but I won't do what I did 2013 when I went well. I had a lot of points. I eased off my race schedule, thinking I'd train more. Next year I'll race a lot. It obviously works. Like 2013 I had to chase points to get here.
Yeah.
I did 3 70.3s back to back to back, and everyone's like, well, that's a big ask, but it made me race well.
And it's just better for your body sometimes. You got to stay in a rhythm.
Yeah. I won't do this. That was my 3rd Ironman in less than 5 months. I won't do.
No.
I don't think I'll do 2 Ironmans next year. I'll just do 1, but I'll keep up I'll race more 70.3s. I think that's the key to a good Ironman, especially in this type of race. The 70.3 racing just keeps you honest, keeps you testing yourself. I mean, that's just my opinion. But
as a guy who comes from an amazing pedigree of athletes, your mom 4th at Boston, your dad an Olympian, and 7th here. You're a guy who knows history, and coming down that last stretch, knowing that you were going to be 5th, knowing that you had really the best race you've ever had here. What was going through your head?
To be honest, my parents held the flag up, and I ran straight through the middle and grabbed it and kept running. I literally. If you watch the video of me finishing, I look over my shoulder on the carpet twice.
On the carpet.
After Ivan Rania 2 years ago passing me on the last corner with, say, 200 meters to go, it can happen at 50 meters to go.
Yes.
I wanted to just cross that line and then celebrate.
Yes.
I was hurting the whole way. The whole run, I was not comfortable. Cramps, I didn't have any cramps, but it can happen so quickly that I was just happy to cross that line. It was a big motivation to get top 5, though. I knew top 5 make the press conference, and it's just nice to sit there with that elite sort of crowd. Especially yesterday with the 4 guys in front of me are incredible athletes, like all of them.
Yeah.
Their resumes stacked, so it's nice to just scrape in there.
What's nice about that is, someone like an Andreas Raylert is thinking, God, I need to win this race. And Andy Potts is 4th again. And for someone like yourself, for someone like yourself, who's a dad, it's just getting 5th. I mean, getting 5th is a huge win.
For me, there's always stepping stones. I wanted to scrape in the top 10, and then scrape in the top 5, and then the next step would be to try and get top 3. But to be honest, if I come back next year, I will be happy with the top 10. Like it's and then anything better is a bonus. I mean, I'm realistic. There's 30 guys I think that have already been top 10 here, and next year there was a couple new ones this year. They'll be back, and so literally 30 people on the start line next year have proven they can do it.
Yes.
But only 10 it's going to happen again. So I mean, I'm realistic. I hope I can come back and race for another 5 years here. Andreas has shown it. I mean, he's in a different class, but he had a bad year or two and then came back and was back on the podium again in second place and with a flat tire was pretty impressive. Well, very impressive. So yeah, I mean, I hope in my career I can better fifth is the goal in the end, but I don't know if next year it'll happen that easily. Sometimes you got to take one step back to take 2 steps forward. But I'll be back and I'll give it a solid go.
Love it. Again, how about a round of applause, Mr. Tyler Butterfield, 5th place Ironman Triathlon World Championship. Poncho Man, take us out.
To the golden moon, here's to the silvery sea. Most of all, here's to breakfast with Bob and me.
Poncho Man! Love it.